So you've had LASIK and the world is crystal clear, most of the time. But what about that gritty, dry feeling that can creep in? What if you could actually manage it with a simple, testable plan? Well, that is exactly what we're going to build today, a way for you to find real, predictable comfort. Okay, let's be real. Does this sound just a little too familiar? It's not always this huge, dramatic problem. A lot of the time, it's just that a soft, gritty whisper, a persistent little irritation that just kind of grinds you down. This is the exact feeling we're going to tackle, not with some magic cure, but with a system that makes sense. All right, here's our game plan. First up, we're going to get a handle on what's actually going on inside our eyes. Then we'll build a solid foundation for relief with two incredibly simple habits. After that, we'll put on our detective hats and hunt down the common triggers that cause those annoying flare-ups. And finally, we'll pull it all together with a 14-day action plan so you can find out what works specifically for you. So what is really happening here? You see, post-LASIK dryness isn't just an eye problem. It's more like a whole system experience. It's a reflection of your body's overall balance. And that means the small choices you make every single day, what you eat, how much you drink, even where you're sitting in a room, all of it can either help you out or, well, make things worse. You know, what's really interesting is that we're basically fighting on two fronts. First, you've got evaporative dryness. Think about how your eyes feel after a long flight, right? Where the air just seems to suck all the moisture right out. Then you've got aqueous dryness, which is that feeling you get when you know you haven't had enough water all day. Most of us are dealing with a little bit of both. And this is just such a perfect way to think about it. LASIK is like getting a brand new, beautifully crafted piano. But it's your daily routine, your diet, your habits. That's the tuning. That's what keeps that instrument sounding perfect day after day. Your choices are what protect and support the amazing outcome of the surgery. So if you take one thing away from this section, let it be this. This isn't about some one-time miracle fix. It's all about creating stability. And that stability is built on three pillars: consistent water, the right kind of oils, and just calmer habits for your eyes. And seriously, do not underestimate that last one. Your environment can absolutely sabotage even the healthiest diet. Which leads us to a really interesting question. There's a daily routine, something so common that can silently undo all your healthy eating efforts, and you probably don't even give it a second thought. So, what is it? We're going to circle back to that in just a bit. Okay, let's jump into section 2 and start building that foundation of stability. We're going to focus on the two most powerful tools we have: getting into a steady hydration rhythm and making sure we get the right kinds of fats, specifically omega-3s. Now, this is a brilliantly simple, low-effort system. Just pick 2 meals a week for fish. Maybe every Tuesday is Tuna Tuesday for lunch, or Saturday is salmon for dinner. The point is to make it automatic, so you don't even have to think about it. Consistency is so much more important than trying to be perfect. Oh, and a little pro tip: if you're taking a supplement, always have it with a meal that has some fat in it. Think avocado or olive oil. It helps your body absorb it so much better. Now let's talk about hydration, because this is a real game changer. The goal isn't to just chug a gallon of water right before bed. No, it's about maintaining a steady level of hydration all day long. Because if you're constantly playing catch up, especially at night, you're not just going to be up all night. You're actually robbing your eyes of that restorative tear production that happens when you're in a deep sleep. So how do you know you're getting it right without driving yourself crazy counting every single ounce? Here it is, your simple, stress-free checkpoint. Just aim for pale yellow urine by midday. That's it. It's a super simple visual cue that tells you you're right on track. And what about all those fancy electrolyte drinks we see everywhere? Well, here's the deal. They can absolutely be useful if you're really sweating a ton or if you're sick. But for a typical day at your desk, a lot of them are just loaded with salt and sugar. And if high-sodium foods are already a trigger for you, these drinks can actually make your dry eyes worse. All right, on to section 3. This is where we get some quick wins. You know, sometimes the fastest way to feel better is to simply stop doing the things that are predictably making your eyes feel like sandpaper. So here they are, the usual suspects. Alcohol is a real double whammy. It dehydrates you and it messes up your sleep. Restaurant food, especially things like pizza or ramen, can be total sodium bombs that throw your whole system out of balance. And all those sugary processed snacks, they can kick off a nasty cycle of inflammation and poor sleep that your eyes will definitely feel the next day. Okay, so if you're trying to avoid those triggers, what should you eat? Instead of some complicated, restrictive diet, just think about this beautifully simple formula for your plate. On those days when you're tired and you have zero motivation, just remember these 4 things: protein, color, fat, and fiber. It's a system, not a bunch of rules. Okay, section 4. It's time to bring it all together. Now, this isn't about starting some new diet forever. Think of it as a short, 2-week experiment designed to turn you into a detective for your own body. You're going to get actual data on what really moves the needle for your eye comfort. The whole plan is broken down into 3 super easy phases. First, for just 3 days, we stabilize. Just focus on hydration and cut out those big triggers. Then, for about a week, we build our rhythm with those omega-3 meals and the plate formula. But here's where the real magic happens. In the last few days, you start reintroducing things one by one. This is how you're going to pinpoint your personal triggers. And how are you going to measure your progress? It's simple. Just check in with yourself once a day on these 3 things: your overall comfort score from 0 to 10, how long you can comfortably look at a screen, and how your eyes feel in that first half hour after you wake up. This becomes your personal data that shows you what's really working. Hey, remember that question I asked earlier? Well, here's the answer. The routine that can completely cancel out a perfect diet is this sneaky trio: staring at screens, having air blowing on your face, and being in sleep debt. You could be eating the healthiest food in the world, but if these environmental factors are working against you, you're fighting a losing battle. And what is so great about this is just how simple the fixes are. Your eye is feeling dry from staring at your computer? Just do 5 slow, complete blinks every half hour. That AC vent in your car blasting right at your face? Just point it down. These tiny 60-second environmental tweaks are what give all your dietary changes a real fighting chance to actually work. So the huge takeaway here is this: your comfort doesn't have to be some random, frustrating mystery. It can be predictable. This 14-day plan isn't about depriving yourself. It's an experiment in self-discovery. The only question left is, what is your experiment going to teach you?